See what's going on. All right. All right.
There we go.
Okay. Must be Tuesday.
Yeah, it must be Tuesday. We're in the
Down here,
building.
Sports Talk. We in the building, man. Myself, my co-D, y'all the Bears in the house. What's good? How y'all doing? Y'all good? Everything's everything. Yeah, this is gonna be a different one tonight. For me anyway. Because I usually, man, when we usually talk the sports thing, man, I usually go off the top of the dome. You know what I mean? But tonight, man, I just want to be on point really with what I'm talking about. I bought notes tonight. Bought notes.
Someone's very
Um,
studious today.
yeah, very studious, very very studious. Um, I almost got to highlighting some stuff. You know what I mean?
No. Oh.
Um, you know what I'm saying? But we're gonna talk about some things tonight. AFC, NFC Championship review. I got my Cody out of bear in the house with me. You know we're gonna hit it hard. Um, we're gonna talk about some other things too. What's going on with LSU basketball on the women's side? We'll talk about that. Um, and we're gonna get into some other stuff. Browski wants to talk about some things, so we're gonna get into that. What it look like, Yada Bear?
Ah, man, it's looking crazy, man. It was such a crazy Sunday NFL, playoff championship weekend. Those two games was wild. The outcomes was I don't think many people outside of those two cities really predicted that matchup. You know, I kind of thought we was going to get either Baltimore or Detroit in one in these games. I didn't think we'll get both of them, but to see that both of them went out and they kind of went out like some suckers,
Mm.
um, it is crazy. We seen Detroit, being on the come up. The first year Dan Campbell there, they was like 3-13 and 1. Then the second season, after they made the one of the best draft picks they picked in a while, and they 9-8. It's like, all right, Detroit's coming up. And then this season they just blew it out the water. Had a fantastic season. Everything was clicking for these guys. Gritty team on and off the field. Gritty coach. A good feel good story. And the story was amazing and came to an end on Sunday on some real, sucker moves by their head coach Dan Campbell. Sometimes a man balls can be too big
Mm-mm.
for themselves and be their own downfall. And that's
Oh,
exactly what happened. You're up 24-7 in the NFC Championship. You go
on the
into
road.
the on the road at San Francisco. No one expected you guys to come out the way that you did. It was beautiful. And then to go, back in the tunnel at halftime, everyone's taking a breather and everyone's feeling themselves, acting like the game is over. They must have forgot that there's a second half. You know, there's 4 quarters in the game, and you guys completed 2, and so you had 2 more to go. But it seemed like when they came out that tunnel, they forgot like, oh shit, we gotta play 2 more quarters. And the 49ers was ready. They came out the gate, put up a field goal, cut the lead down, and then next thing you know, they got in their rhythm and they were just hitting them, getting stops, touchdown after touchdown. And then you got this guy on the other side. Your team's in a little bit of a funk. You go away from what got you there. I just want to understand about these teams like that. What made you special? What got you to in the position that you are? You went away from it during the most crucial time of your season. They stopped running the ball. Like, I know Gibbs fumbled, but Montgomery, they couldn't stop this guy. He was getting positive yards every time he touched the ball. Chunk plays 7 yards, 8 yards, 10, 12. They couldn't stop him. The only person that could stop him was Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell because they stopped calling run plays for him. And then they trying to force the ball down the field to Amon St. Brown instead of being the same creative offensive mind they had in the first half, and then the most egregious thing that Dan Campbell could done in the NFC Championship game is to leave points on the field. You go for it twice on fourth down when you're in field goal range and not take the points. You left 6 points on the field, and guess what? Y'all lost by 3. That's crazy. How you leave 6 points out there, and at the end you lose by 3 points. You know, they almost shocked the world. I feel like this was their best shot, and I don't think that Detroit Lions will ever get back to this point in a while now. I feel like they're gonna stay being like a middle of a pack team. Um, I feel like this loss kind of took some momentum from their come up, because now that schedule going to get tougher next season. You're going to lose some players next season. You don't have that high draft pick. You know, you guys so used to top 5, top 10 draft pick. That's out the window now. You know, some people may want to move on because they may have lost confidence in the coach by making these weird decisions in the NFC Championship. It's I just don't understand. I feel bad for the city of Detroit, for their fans, because this is a franchise, one of the original NFL teams that have never made it to the Super Bowl. Like that's crazy. 57 years, one of the original teams, and you never made it to the Super Bowl. And it looked like they may be one of the teams that may never make the Super Bowl, especially high end guys like that. Like that is crazy. And then, you know, we all thought that this kid Lamar was going to get off the hump. You had the Chiefs right for the picking. You know, this Chiefs team haven't been the best Chiefs team, haven't been the scariest Chiefs team that we've seen. You know, generally in the past, when you think about the Kansas City Chiefs, it's a lot of flash, a lot of down the field, you know, high scoring. And this season, it hasn't been like that. You know, they don't have a top tier receiver. Their receiving core have been having the cases of the dropsies all season. Got so bad that even Travis Kelsey at some point was had caught it too. You know, he was dropping just about every ball Patrick was throwing to him. But the way, again, another team that went away from the things that made them special, the things that got them in that position, not running the ball. We've seen the Chiefs all year. There has been suspects on run stops. Everybody can run on them. They had like one of the worst run defense, and Baltimore has like one of the best run offense. But for some strange reason, when the lights are the brightest, you like to go away from what made you good. And we seen the result. Um, Lamar Jackson looked like a shell of himself. He kind of looked like he gave up in the middle of the game. I the one play that I've been talking about the whole time that we've been talking behind the scenes is that pass in the end zone when my man was triple team and he threw that pick in the end zone, a pass that he didn't have to throw. Like it wasn't like he like the coverage was disguised. You seen that he was triple team, and you still made the conscious decision to heave the ball in the end zone like this was the last chance play. You still had a whole nother quarter. Your defense been playing great. They shut the Chiefs out in the second half. People don't realize the Chiefs only scored 17 points, and it was all in the first half. They scored 0 points in the second half. And for like Lamar gave up in the third quarter. It was just crazy. And I'm just swinging to you, left. Go ahead, man, because I know that you got your notes ready and
Man,
you
listen,
got some
I
bars
was
for
just,
me.
I was let I got say what you got to say and take your time and do what you do. For me, I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna take it back to training camp, right? Aaron Rodgers got his deal. Average, he got a $50 million deal. Average
Mm-hmm.
over 2 seasons. The last 2 years of his contract, the Jets, right? Then close your ears, Bowski.
Uh-oh.
Right after that,
I
Jalen
know.
Hurts got $51 million. Then on draft day, the NFL draft, Lamar Jackson got $52 million. 3 months after that, on the eve of training camp, Justin Herbert got $52.5 million. When the season kicked off, Joe Burrow got $55 million. Then 2 weeks into the season, Patrick Mahomes looked at all of these dudes. Deshaun Watson getting 230 guaranteed. Looking at Jalen, looking at Lamar, looking at Joe Burrow. These dudes is like every day they just throw money in the air. These owners. He restructured his deal. He got out of it. Remember he got a 10-year deal, $450 million. Remember everybody was going crazy about that? 10 years, $450 million.
Yeah.
So now he restructured that to a 4-year deal, $52.5 million plus a year. All guaranteed. Somebody got a return on their investment. We ain't gonna say no names. We ain't get there yet. Burrow, Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, and Jalen Hurts. They represent a quartet of quarterbacks that are all making over $50 million a year. Don't clutch your pearls yet. It ain't over. My thing is this. You can make as much money as you want. You can restructure your deal because we knew that. We talked about that, Baskin. We said Patrick Mahomes is going to be looking at these dudes and be like,
Oh, definitely. Like, I need some money.
How much is that 10-year, $450 million contract worth? But now we get to this part right here. All those quarterbacks that I named, how many of them are going to the Super Bowl?
Just one.
One. That's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
For as much as we talk about, and we've talked about it, and we've talked about it, and we've talked about it, the best quarterback in the league, and who's the man, and this and that and the third. All of a sudden, through some kind of osmosis, the conversation always starts to gravitate towards money. If you make the most money, you're the best quarterback. If you get this deal, you must be the truth. You're a Super Bowl contender. You're going to be in the Super Bowl. You're going to be a contender every year. You're going to be in the playoffs. Now we're going to focus in on Lamar Jackson. Those are a couple of quarterbacks I didn't name in all that money situation. Josh Allen, Dak Prescott. But we don't worry about them. Lamar Jackson, it's shine time, my dude. You see what it says there? Lamar Braxton Jackson. That's your new name. Because, again, enough time has went by. We've got, what do you call it, Browski? What do you call it? A sample size. It's been enough sample size. We've been down this road with you before the playoffs. We've been down this road with you in the regular season. You do your thing. You're well respected as one of the great, the young quarterbacks on the come up and do what you got to do with whoop-de-whoop. The way they talk about you, fam, you should have a Super Bowl ring already. And quiet is kept. If we're going to keep it really green, you should have a Super Bowl ring already. But upsets do happen. Off days do happen, right? Everybody, you have an off day. All of that is being said to lead up to Sunday. Kansas City Chiefs probably in the worst position since their Super Bowl run. All right. They still in the AFC Championship game on the road. All everybody talked about was how Patrick Mahomes is on the road and
First
he's
time
doing it.
ever.
Right.
First time
First
ever on
time
the road. Road
right.
Warriors.
Playoffs is the play. I don't get that either because the playoffs is the playoffs, no matter where you play, how you play, or as long as you get there, right? But anyway, Lamar Jackson had every number one seed, a week off again, right? We're gonna get into that too. Why do you keep getting a week off and having nothing to show for it, right? You got the dominant team, the defense is ready, the running game is awesome, the coach, the brothers, and all that, all that. It's a great story. Here it comes, it's game time now. You're looking good early, like you're supposed to at home, and Omar and them and Avon and Stringer Bell and Brother Muzah, they all going crazy, right? Now reality starts.
Ray Lewis come out the tunnel.
Ray Lewis, T Sizzle, and all these guys. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's the pressure, Lamar. You want to, Patrick Mahomes is in your face. He's in your stadium, in your house. He came to see you, right? The two money dudes, the two big money dudes. One of them showed up, and one of them didn't. So Lamar Jackson got some explaining to do. I was talking to Browski behind the scenes earlier today. Do we take it back to Louisville? Like, was he one of these great, super outstanding quarterbacks at Louisville? How many national championships did they win? 0. How many, conference titles did they win? How many college football playoffs were they in? Like, I'm not trying to come down on Lamar Jackson. Not at all. I'm just speaking truth to power. And Browski, stop me if it sounds like I'm trying to come down on him. I'm speaking truth to power, yo. Like, you making all this money, you doing what you're doing, and I'm not mad at you for getting your money. Get your money, bro. Get your money. That's what you're supposed to do. But at the end of the day, you can't buy a spot at the table. You gotta have a chip. You can't sit at the table without championship. They don't want to talk about contracts. They don't want to hear how much money you make. They don't want to hear that. What did you bring to a championship team? And that's why I speak to Lamar. Is he championship material? Because it seems to happen every time around this time. They have them gassed up. They have them souped up. They have them, boosted up. Like, okay, it's Baltimore's time. It's their time, and they're ready. And Lamar Jackson is the guy to lead them, and this and that and the third. We're not talking about the running game not showing up. We're not talking about Zay Flowers, making alleged rookie mistakes. So we're gonna get into that too. I'm gonna light you up too, son. So at the end of the day, Lamar, it all goes back to you. When the superstar hero ball plays work, it's outstanding. It's super. We saw one in that game. That was a great play. I'm not taking nothing away from you, my guy. You made that play happen. You made that play happen.
He did.
You made it happen. But
he made several
going into the rest of the game, what happened, Browski?
I said, yeah, but he made several other plays happen.
Right. As the game goes on, we start to see you start to be a little indecisive back there. You start to look like, what's going on with Lamar? You know what I mean? And again, going away from the running game, I'm not going to say anything about that. That's between you and Monken. Y'all got to deal with that. You know what I mean? But forcing passes, all I can see is what I can see. I see you force passes. I see you, not seeing the blitz coming because they was killing you.
It was. That was the only way they can. That was the only way they can get real pressure on Lamar was to send the blitz, and for them not to pick it up was crazy.
It was crazy.
And also, where was Odell Beckham?
I mean, like at the end of the day, I'm gonna finish my little piece. And Zay Flowers, I've been waiting to say this for a couple of days now, man. I'm not really interested in hearing about how it was a rookie mistake and you'll get there again and it happens. You had a bad day. Ask Dan Marino, right? So I don't really, I get it, one mistake. But that the penalty would take away the big catch. You got to taunt the guy. You know what I mean? You're shooting yourself in the foot. You're cutting your own throat. Those are. And I don't want to blame that on being a rookie, yo. Because you know why, Browski? This is why I don't blame that on Zay Flowers being a rookie. Because he's the veteran of the game, watching the game, knowing what not to do. Let's go. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you with that because I mean, it's not like he just walked off the street and got on the NFL field. That's the same type of penalty that you would get in college and in high school. You got to be smarter than that in these situations. Now, I get that. I mean, it was questionable for me. To me, should he got the flag? No, I don't think he should have got the flag because you got this other guy on the other side of the field by the name of Travis Kelce who's been killing them all game, but he's been taunting them the whole game too. And they didn't throw out not one flag, So I feel like the refs was a little questionable, but to me, the refs are always questionable when it comes to the Chiefs. Anytime the Chiefs are playing, there's always some type of questionable call that goes against the other team. And speaking of Travis Kelce, as I said earlier, Travis Kelce, he broke one of Jerry Rice's records, most receptions in the playoffs. As a tight end, and it's mind blowing. It's crazy that he accomplished that in such a short period of time. A lot of people wasn't really bringing it up and talking about that, and I'm like, when we start having these conversations, like I was telling you behind the scenes, and we start talking about the greatest tight ends, that played in the NFL, his name definitely have to be at top, if not at the number one spot, because of what he has accomplished so far in a short period of time in his career. And, he still has several more years to go. So I'm pretty sure there's other records that he's going to break. And that was a huge one. I mean, talking about Jerry Rice, the glove, the man that catches just about everything, But that game was wild. Like, I just, like, what percentage fault do you give John Harbaugh and Lamar? Like, if you got to break it down percentage wise.
Harbaugh as a coach, I'm going to give him the majority of the credit. I mean, the blame. I'm going to put about 35-40% of the blame on Lamar Jackson. 10% of that goes to the offensive coordinator, but the rest goes to John Harbaugh.
Okay. All right. Now, same question for Detroit, for Dan Campbell.
No. I give I give the offensive coordinator about 45% of the blame, and the rest goes to Dan Campbell. Those guys that were playing on the field, they just happy to be there, right? These are a lot of first timers, NFC Championship game. I know Jared Goff was in the Super Bowl, but a lot of those other guys were not. You know what I mean? And again, I think that a lot of that should fall on the coaches to get them ready, man. Knowing that they're on the road, they should have went in the halftime, say like this thing is not over. Let's act like it's 0-0. You know what I mean? That's how they should have came out for the second half, acting like it was 0-0. 24/7 never happened because that's how the 49ers were going to come out. That's how the 49ers came out.
That's exactly how they came out. They came out like 0-0.
Right. You know what I mean? So again, I think that Dan Campbell definitely took his foot off the gas. Maybe they weren't used, of course they weren't used to being in a position of power, you know what I mean, up 24/7 on the road in the NFC Championship game, and just went crazy. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay, the 2 4th down, going for it. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Take the
like
point.
This is not Green Bay in September. You know what I mean? This is not Minnesota in October. You know what I mean? So
there's no game
what are you
that
doing
for you? There's no other game that.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And again, I hate to have to do it, but I'm gonna do it one more time. I did the last 2 weeks. I'm gonna do it one time. Herm Edwards left us with a beautiful quote. You play to win the game. When you have a chance to put points on the board, you do it. You got to look at clock consideration, where you are in the game, the situation, the whole enchilada. You just don't say, "Oh, okay, we're going to go for it and we're going to make it." No, they're essentially giving you 3 points.
Giving you 3. They say, "Yo, kick the field goal. We want the ball back so we can try to score a touchdown." Like kick the field goal. We're giving you the field goal, and you leave 6 points on the field, and then you lose by 3.
They ain't learned nothing for Pete Carroll. They ain't learned nothing. They ain't learned nothing. These coaches, man. I don't know. A lot of times, Campbell is known as a gambler and the guy that lets it go for the fourth down. But again, at the end of the day, man, you ain't got to prove nothing to me. We know your stats. We know what you do. We know your reputation. But this situation ain't calling for that. You got to be smart.
Yep.
You got to be smart. Got to be smart, yo.
You know what he was thinking, Mike? He was thinking like a player and not like a coach. He was thinking like a player and not like a coach. He took off the coach's hat and put his helmet back on. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, again, at the end of the day, salute to the 49ers, salute to the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to definitely get into that probably next week as we get close to the Super Bowl. Because that's what I mean. Like the Super Bowl, this is the off week. They say this is the week where they, get all their logistics together. The family get the tickets, and everybody figures out the flights, and the hotel, and all that. They, walk through the game plan and stuff like that. Once it gets to Friday, Saturday of this week, once it gets to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's Super Bowl week. Super Bowl week starts on Sunday. So again, at the end of the day, you'll have the press conferences. The game's gonna be in Vegas, so expect some debauchery. Expect something's going to happen, right, Basky? Somebody's going to get caught out there. Somebody's going to get. I don't know who it is.
We don't know what it's going to be, who it's going to be, but all thing I know is that if these guys are smart, they should keep their asses in their hotel. Wherever they staying, they need to stay there. They don't need to be nowhere on the.
Well, this situation is going to be a little different. Because the hotel, being inside the hotel is going to be just as bad as being
They don't need to be exploring nothing. They need to stay, focused. It's going to be hard to focus in Vegas.
And you see, and listen, you do the history. You see what happened when, like, the Super Bowls in places like New Orleans and Atlanta, right? This Super Bowl is going to be in Las Vegas.
This is Vegas. This is the most tempting location ever.
Right? Could you imagine? And we don't do a lot of that. Could you imagine the Ken Stabler, Matuzak, Lester Hayes, Willie Brown Raiders having a Super Bowl in Las Vegas? Like
they wouldn't be playing in the game.
You know what I'm saying?
They wouldn't be playing in the game.
Like in Las Vegas, man. Like, so again, at the end of the day, man, and salute to everybody that's rocking with us right now. We see y'all. This is the perfect place, man. We're gonna see everybody be on their best behavior. But again, Browski, with the understanding that these days are not like those days.
No. But
those days you can count everybody, going out trying to buy some love, putting it mildly, trying to buy some love. You know what I'm saying?
Bringing some love back.
Or being drunk or stuff like that. You know what I mean? But I'm expecting this Super Bowl to be kind of, I'm not really expecting nobody to get into nothing. Because you got the two teams, the 49ers and the Chiefs. You know what I mean? The matchup notwithstanding, you got, one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the game going up against Mr. Irrelevant. You know, all the other quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott and Josh Allen and Joe and Justin Herbert
Josh
and Joe Burrow.
Allen.
Y'all need to be ashamed of yourself.
Uh,
You need to be ashamed of yourself. You really do. You let Mr. Irrelevant, who don't even make $1 million. We talking about quarterbacks in there. Yeah, we in their pockets. We in their
I
pockets
mean,
tonight, yo. We in
listen,
your pocket tonight. Brock Purdy,
listen.
he don't even make
They
$1 million.
didn't say that.
But
They should have
I
said
bet
that
you
about
after the
Tom.
Super Bowl, he gonna make some. He gonna have $1 million. Believe that. That
But
could
look,
Lamar Jackson. This could be you. This could have been you, Jalen Hurts. This could have been you,
look.
Dak Prescott,
They said the
Josh
same thing
Allen.
about Tom Brady. You know,
Tom got to listen. Tom Brady got his ring, and
that's what
and
I'm
Tom
saying. What
Brady and Tom Brady made it possible for a bunch of other malcontents and dudes who
yeah,
really didn't want it to get a ring.
yeah, yeah. But
Look what happened to Leonard Fournette since he got the ring, huh? So again, at the end of the day, you know, fundamentally speaking, those who do the fundamentals of the thing are the ones who always playing for the ring. The ones who have to, hey, look at me, and I made a touchdown, but I didn't cross the plane, and I'm making all these millions of dollars, and I'm throwing in the triple coverage. Those are the dudes who are always going home.
nah, that's a fact.
And again, at the end of the day, man, like who are you? Who do you want to be? Do you want to be a cornball who's playing in the Super Bowl? Or do you want to be the loudmouth who's always having to explain why you lost in the playoffs? Always. You got to explain why you lost. You're mad. Of course we know you're mad. The hardest hit you had all day is when you threw your helmet on the ground. I mean, so again, you're going to get it. And it's not that I don't like you I think you don't. But you're the perfect example of today's athlete. All you want to do is get paid. You don't want to get no rings. You don't want to leave no legacy. The generational wealth. I'm not mad at that. That's beautiful. That's what you're supposed to do. But don't knock the dudes who came before you and was getting championships and stayed in the championships. Oh, we making way more money than them.
I mean,
You're
look,
not in the Hall of Fame, and you're not. All you're doing is talking about, you're on your way to the Hall of Fame. When? I can't see it. But you gonna do buy your way in the Hall of Fame? So again, I'm just calling it like I see it, man. I'm not gonna regurgitate nothing I heard on ESPN and none of that nonsense. I'm not doing that, and we don't play those games. So at the end of the day, man, if you're supposed to be about winning and championships, and you got the whole city of Baltimore going crazy, which is dope, at least show up. You didn't even show up. That's what that. I'm not a Ravens fan by no stretch. Shout out to my man Terrence. Shout out to all the Ravens fans out there.
yeah,
Y'all
it definitely,
y'all bugging out right now.
yeah, it definitely seemed like he gave up in that third quarter. I feel like that. That's why I can't let that play go, because every time I think about that game, it goes right back to that play. I'm like, why are you throwing that pass? It wasn't like it was a
Who you
disguised
throwing it to?
coverage.
Right.
It
Who you
wasn't
throwing it to?
disguised at all. It was like you didn't have to do it. It was like it's like he had like an out of body experience. Like he saw himself about to throw this pass and he couldn't stop himself. He just did it, and it was a that's
Well,
to me is when I was like, the game is done. The game is over. But
what's worse? What's worse? Lamar Jackson quitting on the Ravens, or Shakur Stevenson quitting on boxing?
that's wild. I gotta go with Shakur retiring, man. Like that's a big question mark. I mean, is he doing a Teofimo Lopez? because he said he was retired, and now he's going back in the ring. Is
Mhm.
it is he retiring because he don't want to fight anybody, or nobody wants to fight him? Is he retiring because he's not getting
Um,
any title shots? Because this
I
came
don't
out of
think.
left field.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think you retire because nobody wants to fight you. I
You
think
think
you
he retiring
retire
because he
because
don't want to fight nobody?
you don't want to fight. I don't think you retire because nobody wants to fight you. I think you retire
Okay.
because you don't want to fight them.
Yeah.
And
True.
again, at the end of the day, he's very very young, man.
Still,
I don't
yeah.
want to say that, I don't want to say this decision was made off of emotion. You know what I mean? But this it's spooky. Boxing is spooky right now. Everybody is in control
Yeah.
of what they don't need to be in control of. And what I mean by that is the fighters and the boxers. Everybody's scared they're hugging their O. The undefeated guys are hugging onto their O's. They're hugging them for dear life. You know what I mean? It's
Yo,
the Mayweather way.
definitely
You know what I'm
they
saying? But
definitely
here's
don't
the
want to
thing, though,
fight.
Browski.
Yeah.
Here's the thing for me. You got a guy like Ryan Garcia. You got a guy like even Raleigh Romero. Okay, he's getting in the ring,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's active. That's what it's about. If you're not active, people gonna forget about you. And especially,
True.
what's the last thing when we saw Shakur Stevenson throwing 4 punches around, right?
Yeah,
And now
and
that
that's
I
crazy.
remember we was on the show, we was talking about what's wrong with this dude? Is he sick? Is he hurt? Is he
Yeah,
been figured out? Like, what's going on? What are we doing? You went from being the
I was
boogeyman
thinking
of boxing to now you don't even want to show up.
he don't want to show like, and just think the last sample size that you showed us was your last match, which
Yeah,
was trash.
absolutely. Yeah.
That left a sour taste in my mouth because I was on the Shakur Stevens, hype train. Like, yo,
Mhm.
let's get these fights. Come on, Tank. Come on, Devin. Let's give Shakur a shot. And for him to, go out talking mad crazy, a lot of these guys talking crazy online. Then when he gets in the ring to a guy that it's supposed to be a tune-up fight,
Right.
it turns into like, what is this? What am I watching? And
You
then a
got
couple
first
months
shot. You got
later,
shot to let your hand, let them things go, right? All of a sudden.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple months later, you come in and you saying you're retiring. When I seen it, I was like, all right, so I like the internet is wilding. Like, why they saying shit go? I didn't believe it. I didn't think it was true.
Let me
That's
say,
why
Brodsky,
I didn't even
these
call
AI,
you
these
saying
AI, these
anything
AI
too.
is just doing too much.
Yeah, like that's why I didn't even call you or text you to say
Right.
anything about it because I'm like, the internet is tripping. Like Shakur is not retiring, and then I kept seeing it more and more, and I didn't see the story. I said, "So you telling me this man really said he's done with boxing?" I said, "All right."
What did
I,
you do in boxing besides get a
he
lot
did.
of besides get a lot of money and put
That's
a
it.
lot of now? You know what? This is making Devin Haney look really really good. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
This is
it
looking
kind of
Devin
make me
Haney.
feel. Yeah, it kind of make me think that what Haney was saying
It's
and
the truth.
all the news that was coming out of Haney's camp about them trying to make the fight was true. Like he was the one that was, you know, making excuses and upping the price and, giving this excuse or that excuse or what this demand or that demand to try to prolong it down. And now you telling me that you're retiring. I just think it's wild.
And back on
I'm just
Memorial
hope
Day,
I'm hoping it's really
You
not true.
you was sending Devin Haney bottles on Memorial Day talking about signing the contract.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this was just this is just a temporary, decision off of temporary emotions, and he'll come back because he's still very talented. There's still a lot of fights that's out there for him that he's leaving out there, and I don't know. Maybe like I said, maybe just
Oh,
another Teofimo Lopez
so
situation
you
where
telling me?
he'll come back.
So you telling me that Shakur Stevenson pulled a Jess Hilarious on him?
I mean, it's very possible.
Shakur pulled a Jess Hilarious. He gonna say, "Oh, boxing is trash," and then
and
The
then come
next thing you
back.
know, we got the fight coming up. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
Shakur, that one to me that it screams frustration. But then on the other side, it screams kind of fear. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to be stagnated. You don't want to go in there against somebody who's going to make you look bad. You know, but you didn't even give that dude a chance to make you look bad. No, none of y'all threw no punches. Neither one of
Nope.
you.
No,
Neither one of
it
you
was
threw
a track
punches.
race around the ring. It was a weird match.
So I mean,
Smooth.
with Showtime leaving the boxing game, now everything going to the streaming services now. The money's
Yeah.
about to get really, really crazy. I think that there's no reason that these fights can't be made. Enough time has gone by. The only ones that the people that we're seeing getting in the ring are the ones who lost fights, or you know what I
True.
mean, who had been in controversial situations, but they're getting back in the ring trying to redeem themselves, and I can't be mad at that.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So Shakur Stevenson now, man, you kind of like, kind of a lot of that steam and a lot of that momentum that you had in my eyes is kind of gone, man. You from Brick City, man. Brick City's supposed to stand up and represent, man. You know what I
Unless there's
mean?
some type of injury or medical concern that they're not letting out, I'm confused about this retirement situation. But maybe
Man,
with
he
some more
he pulling
information.
yeah, he pulling that he trying to be a Sugar Ray Leonard. Remember Sugar Ray Leonard retired about 12 times and shit, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I feel like this Shakur thing, man, is it's more to it than meets the eye, if you ask me. You know what I mean? You didn't talk to your people. You just got on Twitter and made an emotional decision, or you talked to your people and said, "Well, we're going to try to shut it down, and I'm going to be a trainer or whatever." You know what I mean? What you going to do? You 20? What is he? 25?
He's like,
23?
yeah, I think he's like 24, 25 years old.
Yeah. What you going to do?
So it's like I don't know.
What you going to do?
Hopefully there's some
Telemarketing?
more.
What you going to do? What you going to
Hopefully
do?
there's some more information comes out.
Work in
Who
the
knows?
hospital? What you going to do?
It said the hospital.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what you going to do, B? Like you could have had two more fights and then retired.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
didn't even really do nothing.
maybe his heart is not in it no more. Who knows?
Maybe that might be it. Then say that, yo. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, man, these dudes is not going away. The Devin Haney's of the world is not going away.
No.
Rolly Romero is they gonna come out of their bag now. Oh, he done quit. He done up and you know what I mean. So again, man, Shakur, man, you had everybody's attention. Now you have
Yeah.
everybody's attention now. Are we supposed to just forget about you? Because that could happen too. Now then we'll just cast all our attention on these guys who really want it. You know what I mean? We could talk about Inouye. You know what I'm saying? We could talk about he fights frequently. You
He
know what I
fights
mean?
he fights any and everybody, and he beats
Yeah.
them.
So again, yeah, absolutely. So we could talk about these dudes, and that's what I think we'll do. We'll talk about the ones that want to get out there and fight, and because they love the game. You know what I mean? And I get it that you can't find anybody to fight you, but after this announcement, I bet you everybody gonna line up to want to fight you now. There ain't gonna
Yeah.
be no problem to find a fight for you. And maybe that could be it. Maybe he was, rocking everybody to sleep. Who knows at this point, Bowski? Who knows at this point? Um, NBA, New York Knicks in the building. Put some respect on my man Jalen Brunson's name. Again, we talked tonight. We've been talking about sample sizes. I think Jalen Brunson has put in enough. As far as for the New York Knicks to be considered a star. You know what I mean? Definitely an all-star. Absolutely, absolutely. I voted for him on my all-star
I
ballot. I
did
voted.
too. I think it's super wild that Jalen Bronson isn't a starter, and this is coming from a Sixers fan. And
Right,
and I'm not just a Sixers fan. I'm a fan of the NBA. I'm a fan of great players
right,
and players out there doing a thing. Like I'm
hmm
never a hater because they're not on my squad. Jalen
right,
Brunson has been showcasing that he's been an all-star since he left Dallas. You know, that last run that he had with Dallas in the playoffs was the beginning of like his stardom. You know, it's like, oh wow, this kid for Nova can really
He's
play.
the real deal. Right,
He
right,
can
right.
really ball. And then when he came to New York, it was just like, oh wait a minute. So when you put the ball in his hand and it stays in his hands, this is what he creates. It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. He definitely have made the Knicks into one a top tier team.
Are the Knicks relevant, Browski?
Yes, the Knicks are relevant now with Jalen Brunson and also with the addition of OG. Now, I don't know how relevant they're going to stay when you have a coach in Tibbs that's going to keep Julius Randle in a game that you're blowing him out by 25, and then he comes down and dislocates his shoulder.
Separates the
That
shoulder. Right, right,
that
right.
that right there was wild to me. I'm like, wow. I'm like, you guys are, on a roll. You're clicking. He, you may not be a huge fan of Julius Randle, but when he's out there, he makes the Knicks better. He's the second leading scorer on the team. He contributes a lot on defense, and to see him get hurt on a play that he shouldn't even been in the game. The game is over. You is in the fourth quarter. You're up by 25. Why are the starters still in the game? You know, you made your point against the Heat. You're trashing the Heat. We get it. We see it on national TV. We get your point. Take your starters out. And then look at that. Now Randall is hurt. He got a dislocated shoulder. You don't really know how long is he gonna be out. And then when he comes back, you don't know if he's gonna really be 100%. Tibbs did that. So now you're gonna have to rely heavily on Jalen Brunson to make up for the production that you're losing from Julius Randle.
Or they better dip into that trade bag because
Or
as soon as that injury happened, I was on Twitter. I said, "Yep, they got to really jump in the trade thing now. They got to get
I
something
mean,
happening. Keep the momentum going. They got to. They got to,
but
Browski.
my thing is, if they're going to the trade bag again, what you got to trade? You gave up a lot for OG. You
We
gave
still
up a hell of a lot for OG.
we got some draft picks in the smash.
They ain't high draft picks because
I mean, listen.
you gave a
If
lot
you
up for OG. So
if you
now,
want to get rid of and we can make a deal happen and we can match these contracts up, let's do something because they got to. They can't be stagnant without Julius Randle. They're not gonna, you know what I mean? I get everything you said. I'm not the biggest Julius Randle fan in the world, but I haven't had a lot to say about Julius Randle because he's playing ball. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. But now I need to see it. I need to see it in the playoffs now. Now he's on his annual hiatus of being hurt. All
well,
right. So now we
it's
gotta
not
wait for
his
him to
fault.
come back. Go ahead, huh? Go ahead.
I said it's not his fault that he hurt.
No, it's not. It's not his fault.
It ain't
But
his fault.
being
I
hurt is
mean,
being hurt is being hurt. You know what I mean?
but
So it's not his fault. But at the end of the day, we have to have something to come in there and still keep this momentum going. You don't want to slide from third or to seventh or eighth. You know what I
no,
mean? And
that's
like you say, you don't know
I
when
feel
Julius
you on
Randle's
that,
coming back.
but it's just crazy. But
Yeah.
the
Let's go.
NBA is
Let's go get Joel Embiid.
man, he ain't going nowhere. Joe ain't going nowhere. That
Let's
man
go get
staying here in
Joel
Philly.
Embiid,
Okay,
son.
listen,
Word up.
my man been getting a lot of slack because he's hurt. He hurt his knee. We all clearly saw him hurt his knee. Now everybody's focusing on, well, he missed this certain amount of games. He's not going to be able to get the MVP. I don't think that's on his mind anymore. He already won the MVP. I think now, after that embarrassing loss to the Celtics in the second round, I think it finally clicked to him. Like it's finally something clicked in his mind. It's like I gotta stay as healthy as possible in the
Balderdash.
playoffs. Okay.
Balderdash.
Now, see,
It clicked in his mind after the second round loss to the Celtics.
hey,
Why did it click in his mind when Kawhi hit the shot in Toronto and it had him
well,
crying?
with that right there, no, see, that's the difference. that
Oh,
shot
that's
against
different. Oh,
Toronto,
that's
that's
different.
a lucky shot. Come on now. How many shots you see like that fall when the ball hits every part of the rim and then falls in there? No, I think last season when he finally got all, because last season he got all the criticism. We was on his neck. He never had an off season like he just had this past off season because nobody criticized him about that Kawhi shot. You can't criticize him about that. That was a lucky shot. But last season,
I
he
wasn't
gets all
criticizing
the
him about
blame
the shot.
for
I
that.
was criticizing him about him crying. He was crying like
Well, I mean, some people are emotional. Okay, who knows? But again, like I said, this season, different team. I mean, I'm still hoping we make some type of trade by the trade deadline, to improve the team. But can we talk about how everybody in the league is scoring 60 and 70 points
yeah. Let's
now?
talk about that. Go ahead. Go
Which,
ahead.
which is crazy. And I wish Win Walker was here because this man had the nerve to say that he think Luka shouldn't be an all-star starter. He should be replaced by one of them guys on the Clippers team. And they had to tell him, I said, do you see what Luka is doing? This guy put up 73 points. Tell me when the last time Kawhi put up 73 points, 60 points, 50
When the
points,
last time Kawhi
40
played
points.
73 games?
And boom. That part.
Don't play with me.
Okay. That part. So for
Don't play
people
with
who
me.
out there who feeling and give this man his respect, you gotta give Luka his respect. You know, he put 73 points, Joel with the 70, then you had Cat with like what 65, then you got Booker with 63. Like everybody's scoring 60 plus points. Now, is that the way of the league now? You know, is that telling me that there's a lack of defense that's happening all around the league? Is the league soft? It's a lot of questions, you know.
All of the above. All of the above.
All of the above, right? Because it's
All of the
like
above.
it's crazy that these guys are scoring like someone dropped 50 is nothing anymore. It's like, oh yeah, you dropped 50. Ooh, okay, that's cool.
Here's
We
my
look
thing.
past that, you know.
Here's my thing. You could drop 60 all you want. You could drop 70 all you want. You better
Oh, you
win.
gotta win. You better win. Cat.
Now, I'm not really big on the, the stats and the numbers and all that, but I look them up and I look at them and stuff like that. All those people that score in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and stuff like that. What are the records of those teams in those games? You know what I mean?
Well, I would say,
That should be where the undefeated mark is at. You know what I mean?
well, I
Um,
mean,
and I'm gonna say,
the
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this.
Sixers got a good
Like,
record.
at first, I
So
thought they was trying to
Magic,
honor Kobe. You know what I mean? Because he had the 81-point game or whatever. Everybody was
mm-hmm.
going crazy trying to honor him and stuff like that. Then I thought about it. I sat back and I said, you know what? This is a phase, right? I bet you won't have. I bet you won't have 10 more games of people scoring 60 or more points. Period. Throughout the whole league. Throughout the whole league. 10
you
more
think
games.
nobody else is going to score 60 points?
No, I'm not saying nobody. I'm not saying
No. I'm
nobody.
talking about this season. Nobody else.
70? No.
I'm saying 60.
If they get 70, they might as well try to get the Kobe thing, 82. They might as well try to get 82.
Yeah.
And then if you're gonna get 82, you might as well try to get 101.
I mean, scoring has been up in the NBA this season. I've seen
because they're playing defense like Carmelo Anthony.
I mean, I've seen all-star scores, 135 to 122. I mean, the Lakers
145 to
Warriors
120.
game Lakers Warrior game went to double overtime. It was like 145 to like 136 or something. Or no, 145 to 146, something like that. I mean, scoring has been rising, and I mean that's how the game is going. Everybody shooting threes. Everybody shoot threes now. From the 1 to the 5, everyone shoots 3-pointers. So
So
scoring.
when the playoffs come around, which is in another 4 months, 5 months,
Hmm.
are we expecting to see these numbers level off, or are you going to see the defense start? Because I mean, defense has something to do with it too. We know
Yeah,
that. You know what I mean?
yeah, I definitely expect the numbers to level off. And I also think the reason why we see this uptick in scoring is because of that stupid in season tournament.
Tournament.
Because it was a lot of it was off of points. And I think that, these guys got into the habit of
I'm
scoring
scoring,
points.
scoring, scoring. Okay, okay.
So I think that's one of the reasons why we see an uptick in NBA scoring. But in the playoffs, I would expect to see the defense to play in a bigger role, and we start seeing like maybe 101 to like 96 or things like
Right.
that. Because now, like, guys be scoring, they didn't score like 98 points in three
In the third
quarters.
quarter,
You
they
know,
have 100 points at halftime.
that's a final score. People putting
Yeah.
the teams putting up 70 points at halftime score 70 to 62 or something like that. It's like, what?
Right.
It,
Right.
it's crazy, but I blame the in season tournament. You know, I think that's one of the reasons why we see that the scoring. But yeah, like I said, in the playoffs, defense definitely going to matter. We'll see the scoring leveling out. Definitely.
One more thing before we move on. Candace Parker, get your ish right. Get your ish
Yo,
right. That's all I'm gonna say. Candace Parker, get your ish right. I ain't mad at you. You're a commentator. You're doing your thing. I'm not mad at you. But when you talk about Jalen Brunson in those terms, they sound so confident when they say this. Oh, well, he had a great first round, but a second round not so much. What was you watching? And I'm gonna leave it at that because I respect Candace Parker. And everybody has an off day, but come on, Candace Parker, come on now. People are looking at you sitting up there behind the desk. You know what I mean? And they respect what you say as a commentator and as an expert on the game. You know what I mean? So again, I'm not coming down on you or nothing like that. I'm just kind of like do your research a little bit. That's all. That's all. I'm not mad at you, and we can move on now. Down in Sports Talk, left-handed in the building. Send me your emails,
yeah,
and
send it to him.
and
Definitely
I will
send
respond
it
in
to him.
kind. Trust and believe. Send me
Yeah,
your emails. I will
definitely
respond in
send it.
kind. Salute, Candace Parker. Salute.
Send it to him.
We're gonna get down on it right now. This is the part of the show where something that's particularly interest of us. We speak to it. We get down on it. I've been noticing they've been playing that "Cool in the Game" record at a lot of sporting events lately. You may have down in sports, so to thank for that. But Browski, what are you getting down on tonight?
I actually got two things to get down on.
Okay.
One is the news about the Canadian hockey team.
Yeah. Woohoo!
Canadian hockey team.
Josh Giddy like this. What?
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly. But what's crazy is how long it took for this to get resolved.
Right, right.
Um,
And then listen, Browski, you better talk to them boys. That's your people. Them Carter
listen,
Hart, Philadelphia
Carter Hart,
Flyers.
like what
They had to take a
what's
leave of absence.
crazy.
I bet you did. I hope.
I
And
bet you
listen, the way
do
it's
need one.
going, you gonna be on a long leave of absence,
A
son.
long one. And what's crazy is that the Canadian Hockey Federation knew about this.
Yeah,
They
they know
paid them
about it.
women off. They was paying them off over there. And what's crazy is it happened in London. And listen, they don't play in London. They cops don't even carry guns, okay? They carry a stick, a
Right,
whistle,
the Bobbies.
and
Salute to the Bobbies.
salute to them because they don't even carry guns, okay? They got a nice stick,
Right.
a whistle, and maybe
They got
some
nice
mace,
things.
okay? Okay, and maybe some mace. So you telling me that it took them all this time and they got all the evidence, and guess what? They
Yeah,
are all going back to London
yeah,
to
yeah. And a couple of them
stand the
dudes already been
trial.
charged. A couple of them
And
already been charged.
exactly. What
Mm,
that's why like it's so crazy, and to think that now the Summer Olympics is about to happen
right,
over in Paris, and they got to
right,
deal with this that happened during the Winter Olympics over there.
right.
And then for them to be able to leave there and come and enjoy their life playing in the league, you
Without a care
know,
in the world.
without a
Without a care in the
care in the
world.
world.
We going
Without
overtime
a,
tonight, y'all.
they
Without a
had
care in
no
the world.
care at all. It's mind blowing. So
It
so
is.
I gotta look
Talk
at
about it.
the
It is. It is.
Canadian
It really is.
in the Canadian Hockey Federation. They gotta get some type of punishment. Whoever's the president or whoever over there, they need to be resigned. They had to resign because you cannot say that, oh, we didn't think it was a big deal. We try to
The
brush it under the
isolated
rug.
incident. Yeah.
That was an
Right.
isolated incident, and it's like
Isolated
six
incident.
of
Get
them.
the fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
It's an isolated
Isolated
half the
incident.
team,
Right.
half the team, and it's an isolated incident. Like, get out of here! Like they have to be punished, and also the NHL, bro. Come on now, you don't know what's happening.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot going on in the NHL too, as
What-
far as that's concerned. You got Corey Perry trying to do it to the guy's mom, and it's just it's a whole bunch.
It's
It's a
a
whole
whole
bunch of
bunch of
debauchery
things
going on.
going on,
It's a
and
whole
now
bunch of
and then you
debauchery
got this
going
on
on
top
in
of
the
it.
NHL, son. It's a whole bunch.
That's crazy. And then my second thing I want to talk about
Uh-huh.
is um what's going on at LSU.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a great battle against South Carolina. One of the highest ranked. It was the highest ranked NCAA game, men's or women's, for this season.
Mm.
And you know what's crazy? You hear no talk about men's college basketball like that. If we're not talking about Bronny James, then we're not talking about college basketball, and that's a
Mm.
problem. And that's a huge problem because it seems like the talent is dropping off, you know. And I feel like the games that they're showing on ESPN are the same games. We don't like. There's other teams out there. You don't always have to put
Right.
North
Right.
Carolina on the screen,
Right.
or
Right. Right.
Kentucky,
Right.
or Duke. You know, so by for me saying that is women's college basketball has now trumped, to me, men's college basketball. I haven't seen anybody tweeted about a men's college basketball game as much as they tweeted about this LSU South Carolina game. Like
Mm.
that game was must see TV. I
Yep.
mean,
I
LSU
watched
came
it.
out.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I did too. I was at work watching it. LSU came out the gate. They came out the gate strong. You know, Angel Reese is out there flexing, Flo
Mm-hmm.
J out there flexing, Haley out there flexing. Everybody
Hitting big shots, hustling,
big
beating South
shots,
Carolina to
hustling
the
down the
ball.
court.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But what we say, it's a tale of two halves. There's
Mm.
always a second half, and South Carolina came out there and they settled down and they just took control of the game. And the one thing that stood out to me the most is Angel Reese have to control her emotions. You're supposed to be the leader, the star of the team, and you're fouling out on a big game with like 4 minutes left in a very close, tight game, and you are out there fouling out. Like that's one part of her game that she definitely needed to tighten up. Um, and you can kind of see the cracks within LSU
Mm.
because like well, to me, you got the chick Haley. I feel like she's playing out of position. I don't see she's not a traditional point guard. What Kim Mulkey is trying
The
to
chick that
make her.
transferred, the
Yeah,
chick that
from
transferred down
Georgia.
through. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's not a traditional point guard. She's more of like a shooting guard. She's a scoring guard, And I think that cause like you can kind of see how she plays, like
They were
when the
indecisive.
defense, yeah, when the defense up on her, she's indecisive for her pass. She passed the ball too far away. Like she'll be at like the
Mm-hmm.
logo trying to make an interest pass into the
Mm-hmm.
block,
Mm-hmm.
and most likely the ball is getting knocked away or is a steal.
Right, or getting stolen. Right, right,
So
right.
yeah, so she doesn't have like that point guard mentality, point guard tendencies, and then for them to turn around and to lose to an unranked
Mississippi State. Yep.
Mississippi State by 4 points. Again, another close game. It's like when the games are close, they lose focus and they don't know how to finish the game. It's like
Pressure
the only
bus
way that
fight,
they can
Falky.
really,
Pressure bus
it's like
fight. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
it's like the only way that they can win a game is if they are blowing you out.
But by
It's like they gotta go
25
to
and high fiving
yeah,
on the sideline and
and like
moonwalking and all
everybody
that. Right,
dancing,
right, right,
flexing,
right.
everybody yeah. But when the game is close, it's like they lose focus and they don't know how to
Mm.
close it out. They dumb
Yep.
mistakes, stupid passes, um, Angels fouling out, Flo J taking ridiculous shots for no reason. It's just out of whack. I didn't see this for the defending national champions. I mean, what they rank like ninth now? Yeah, they rank ninth, so they're probably gonna drop in ranking even more. And
Oh
and
well.
what I think it's like their second loss to an unranked team.
Mm. And that's what
And
they got.
South
Like what
Carolina,
they got 3 losses this season. They got 3 losses or 4. They got 3 or 4
this
losses.
is I think this is their fourth. This is their fourth loss. No, no, no,
Mm.
three. No. 3 losses. This is the third
And that's
loss.
and they lost those games in conference too. All those are conference games.
Yeah.
LSU, Mississippi State, and who did and they lost to somebody early. I think they lost the
Uh
first game of the season. They lost,
oh,
and I'm not sure if that
Colorado.
was conference or not. Huh?
No, Colorado wasn't conference,
Okay,
but they
but they lost to
but they,
Mississippi
but
State, and they lost and they lost to South Carolina. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
So
they got two
that's
in
that's
conference
crazy.
losses,
Mm-hmm.
and South Carolina sitting up top, only undefeated
Chilling.
team,
Yeah,
chilling. And
chilling.
I'm gonna need Plies to show some respect to Coach Dawn Stelly and start tweeting at her
Mm.
with his
Uh oh.
nonsense.
Uh oh.
Okay,
You heard. You heard. You heard.
don't be coming at her with nonsense after she didn't wipe LSU at LSU, right? You know they got the whole
Mm-hmm.
white out. Everybody got on white. Everybody jigging, and she come in there, shut all that down. So
That's
shout
what's
out to
up.
South
That's what's up.
Carolina. Get it together, LSU. Go ahead, Left. What you getting
All
down
right,
on?
check it out. I'm gonna get down on when I get down on when I get down on. What I want to get down on tonight is Baseball Hall of Fame. Um, I'm cool with Adrian Beltre. I really don't have no choice. You know what I mean? He did a
I don't have
lot
a
for the
problem with that.
game and stuff like that. Um, as long as you have those guys that were racists, and I'm not going to get into the whole history and the whole the dynamic of it. Why don't you have Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame? For all of these guys that you put in the Hall of Fame, Adrian Beltre and this one, I can't even remember it. And that's bad. I'm a baseball dude, right?
Yeah, it wasn't a strong Hall of Fame class
It
this
wasn't,
season.
and I think that's my point. That's my point. I think Adrian Beltre got in, Todd Helton got in, and somebody
Yeah.
else. You know what I mean? So when you have it, I still have baseball conversations, and when you talk about these guys, it's not like, oh my God, they're Hall of Famers. Definitely, when you talk about the Hall of Fame, and we said this before, we talked about this, Bosky. It don't matter what Hall of Fame it is, from baseball to basketball, wrestling, hockey, whatever, football, whatever. If you talk about a particular individual, I throw a name at you, Jim Brown. No doubt.
Oh.
No question, Hall of Fame material.
No question at all.
Derek Jeter. No doubt, Hall of Fame material. Mariano Rivera. No doubt. Wayne Gretzky. No doubt.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame material. Then you start talking about these other guys. And if I have to think about it before I answer you, that's my answer right there.
Exactly.
If I gotta think about it, you throw a name at me, Gary Sheffield. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna say, oh yeah. No. Even
when
and
you
I'm
gotta start, when you gotta start looking at when you gotta start going through their stats and looking at their numbers,
you gotta start.
and you know it's like,
You know what I'm saying?
But if you telling me like you said, you telling me you said Ken Griffey Jr., I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
Ken
of course.
Griffey Jr.,
I don't
Willie
have anything.
Mays.
Of course.
You know what I mean? But here's one. Here's one who's going to be an automatic for next year. And I think we talk about this Ichiro.
Mm-hmm.
Ichiro.
No,
He didn't start playing baseball in the United States until he was 27.
Exactly.
And he got over 2,000 hits. Like again, and when you talk about Ichiro, like yeah, no doubt.
Oh, no doubt at all. It's like that's a no-brainer.
You talk about this other guy, Browski, Jeff Kent. Like what? No disrespect to these guys, but like I'm like, huh?
No, that's when you were like, huh? I don't know.
Yeah, I said, Browski, yeah, I guess. You know what I mean? But when it gets down to that situation, man, the Hall of Fame is diluted as well. Everything is diluted. Everybody's getting a participation trophy. We got to let somebody in the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? We got to let
that's how I kind of feel for this. That's how I feel for this year. It was like, well, we can't have a year without an inductee. And it was like, all right, well, okay, well, Adrian Beltran, he had a pretty decent. He had a pretty
I mean 477 home runs. Yeah. I mean that's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, you know what I mean?
That's not a spot on, but it's not like
Adrian Beltran, word. Like
what the other guy and Joe Moyer. Was it Joe Moyer also? What's his name? Joe Moyer. The other guy that went in Moyer. What's his name? Joe Moyer.
Oh, Joe Mauer. Joe Mauer from the Twins.
Joe Mauer from the Twins. That's what I'm saying. It's like Joe Mauer.
I couldn't even remember Joe Mauer. Joe Mauer for the Twins.
See, I had to double check to make sure. I'm like, wait a minute, who? Joe Mauer. I said, oh.
And see, for the people that are still hanging out with us and watching the show, we appreciate y'all. This is what we're talking about. Like Joe Mauer, like he was great for Minnesota.
And that was it. After Minnesota.
That was it.
That's it. Yeah. It was like his years in Minnesota was like, oh yeah, he was really good there.
Right.
But
you're not putting Joe Mauer in the conversation with Johnny Bench.
No.
Carlton Fisk. You're not putting him in the conversation. You're not.
No.
I don't care what you say. As far as the Minnesota Twins are concerned, you can put him.
He's a legend. He's a legend in Minnesota.
Paul Molitor, you can put all of them dudes. Kirby Puckett, rest in peace. All of them dudes.
Yeah.
But in the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York,
I feel like there was like we gotta put somebody in there.
Yeah, we gotta put somebody in there. Yeah, and on that note, man, we're gonna get up out of here, man. This is Left-Handed at RM Jets on Twitter. You know the vibes. That's my Code D in the building. Yada Bear right there holding it down. Make sure you check out on 6 Zeros. Make sure you check it out on Twitter. Make sure you check out on the Star Report and all of that. And that's what we do on a Tuesday, man. You know what I mean? Salute, respect, and we'll catch up to y'all. Don't go nowhere, Browski. We out next week. We're gonna give our Super Bowl preview. Get into the Super Bowl thing.
Oh, go ahead. And Steph Curry versus Sabrina.
We got some time. We got a couple more minutes. What you want to say about that? We got a couple more minutes. We're gonna stretch it out tonight. What's up?
And they're saying she's shooting from the NBA 3-point line. Here's my question to you: just if she beats him, does that ruin his legacy?
No.
It doesn't ruin it. It doesn't make you won't look at him in no type of way, being all time.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
All right.
Nope. Now, if he beats her, then what? Like
Yeah.
I don't look at that as like really like a battle of the sexes thing. I look at it,
Mhm.
and they cool anyway. They good people anyway. So he
Yeah.
respects her so much. Let's just do it for the sport. Let's just do it. Let's just have a we'll have some
I
fun with
thought it
it
was
and make it do what
interesting.
it do. You know what I mean? It's not like a
Yeah.
bit Bobby Riggs and Billie Jean King type scenario.
Yeah. When I saw it, I thought it was interesting. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
I'm very
it'd be cool.
interested. And would I watch it? Yes, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch
I'm
it.
gonna
I mean,
watch it.
and everybody else is gonna be watching it. It's not like it's gonna be Clarissa Shields and trying to fight with Keith Thurman and you know what I'm
I know.
saying? Like,
I know.
that,
I know. That's
that's
crazy.
crazy. We're gonna get up out of here, man. We'll talk to y'all next week. Win Walker, hope he gets back from his storm run. I think he's shooting his movie. But y'all do what y'all do, man. We'll talk to y'all next week down in Sportstalk. We out of here. We'll talk to y'all. Don't go to it, Bowski. Peace. God
Oh
damn.
man.
Yo, Mauer, word, son.
Oh,
Word.